last mixer show. I'm going to make for you today one of my favorite things to snack on. I've been on a little bit of a restricted diet recently, and so I've had to find a granola that is good, that doesn't have quinoa and doesn't have sesame. And almost every granola I find, and they're delicious granola, they have those ingredients in them. So I have a wonderful friend who gave me this recipe, and it's one of my favorites now. And it is addicting and yummy, and you will love it. So I'm going to show you how to make it. And it's pretty simple, but you have, the one thing that does take a little while, and I've already done this for us today, is I've chopped up a whole bunch of nuts. So we need almonds, we need cashews, and we need pecans. So if you're allergic to any of those, I'm sure you can alternate with walnuts, maybe even switch out for hazelnuts. But those are the three types of nuts that I use for this granola. And they're already all chopped up nicely, and I put them here in the bowl. So next, we are going to add coconut, which is the best part to this, I think. And I actually like to do more of like the bigger flake kind and then the shredded combined, so that it gives you a little bit of, I don't know, it varies a little bit, and it more diverse granola, I guess. And then you have poppy pieces of coconut, and I add a little bit extra because I love the flavor of coconut in my granola. So I'm just gonna pour that in. Then we of course need oats. And I like to use the sprouted, thank you, that's the word I'm trying to think of. So sprouted oats, you don't have to use them, but that's what I prefer to use. And you're gonna add 6 cups of that in here. All right, so there's our oats, our nuts, and our coconut. Now we're gonna make kind of the dressing for this granola that makes it really, really yummy. And for that, you're gonna have 3/4 cup brown sugar, and then you're going to add maple syrup, which I'm gonna measure out for you now. So we add maple syrup. Probably need to move this bowl out of the way so you can see what I'm doing over here. Okay, so you have maple syrup, and then we add, so I also cannot have avocado oil, which is what I have also always loved. So now I use grapeseed oil, which is really mild and doesn't have a really strong taste. So olive oil is a little too strong for this, so you'll want to use something that's a little more mild of an oil. So if you don't like grapeseed, you can use avocado oil, but I just can't use that for myself right now. So I'm going to do, I'll put that right here into the solution that we've got going. So it's one of those funny measurements where you add the 1/2 cup, but then you also add just a little bit extra. And then we just need to add, which I've already pre-measured, vanilla that always makes everything yummy, and some salt. Okay, let's mix that up. And we're just gonna pour that mixture over the nuts and the oats. And I use these, this is kind of a funny spoon to use, but I use these because it helps grab any of the dressing from the bottom of the bowl. So as I'm mixing this, I use 2 of these. So I like to use these rubber spatulas. If you don't use them, it's fine. You can use a wooden spoon, but I think it helps grab the bottom as you're mixing it. So you're gonna mix it, make sure it's really well coated with all of the yummy wet stuff. So I'm gonna have my cameraman in just a minute show this to you a little bit better. And then we're going to bake it. So it bakes for quite a while. You bake it for a whole hour, but so this kind of goes for a minute. But you bake it for an hour because you want it to get crispy. You'll notice that the flakes of coconut, the bigger flakes of coconut, start to get a little bit toasted, and so you'll know it's done. And your house will smell incredible. In fact, one time I was making this, it's kind of funny. I left my back door open slightly because my dog was running in and out of the house. And as I was baking my granola, we have this little squirrel in the backyard that likes to come up to the door. Occasionally I'll get a little crazy and it'll fly into the oven, and that's not fun, and I think he smelled the baking nuts. So even the squirrels will like this granola. It is just so delicious, but it's getting more well coated here. You can see, you just want to make sure you get it all from the bottom, scrape the sides really well. Kind of gets a little bit of an arm and wrist workout, and then we're gonna pour it in a big baking sheet that is lined with parchment paper, so that I like to do that because it just keeps my pan a lot cleaner. So you don't have to line it with parchment paper, but I prefer to do that. And you bake it pretty low, so that's why you have to bake it. You don't want to bake it at a high temperature because then it'll cook too fast. And as it's baking, probably every 20 minutes, I'll open the oven door and just kind of toss it a little bit so that it evenly gets toasted. But I kid you not, this stuff, I will have a jar of it in my car, and before I'm home, it's gone, because it is so good. And I've given it to people and everyone asks me for the recipe. Okay, I think we got it. Seems like it's pretty well mixed. Okay, so I'm gonna now get my pan here. And I'm just gonna put a big strip of parchment paper in there. Pour this whole bowl into this can. It's kind of a big mound, you gotta spread it out. In fact, I'm wondering if I should cook this in 2 pans. I just think it'll cook more evenly. I usually double it, so I do use 2 pans, but I was thinking I could fit it on 1 pan today. There's still a lot of this. And I'm telling you, you're gonna have neighbors coming by. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how to do this. We're just gonna kind of do this on the fly. Scoop a little into the other side without touching this with my hands. And try to make it as even as I can so these bake pretty well together. If you can fit 2 pans in your oven, that works. But if you can't, you can fit it in 1. I just want to spread it out a little more because I think it's gonna bake a little better. Keep trying to get all the way to the edges. And this is delicious with, I'll eat it plain with a spoon. I will eat it with almond milk on it. You can put regular milk on it. It's really, really yummy with some yogurt and fruit, but so many ways you can eat this granola, and it's just delicious. So let's get this in the oven. Let's slide these in together. And like I said, we'll cook it in like 20 minutes, stir it up a little, and voila. There you go. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes, so I'm going to give this a little stir so the top doesn't get too cooked. I'm just going to mix it around. So it's not really browning up quite yet, but as I'm stirring it, I can definitely smell a really yummy fragrance, and starting to get just a little toasted on top, but the next stir we might see a little more browning. Anyway, all right, we'll check it again in 20 minutes. Make another stir on the granola because it's been another 20 minutes. Get a little bit toasty, starting to feel a little bit more like it's closer to being done. And oh wow, it smells so good in here. Can't wait to try this. And next time we come over here, we will pop it out of the oven and you will see it. Time to take out our granola. I'm so excited because it smells so good. I'm dying to eat this. Okay, so slide it out, and you'll notice when you pull it out, when it's all done, the way that it bakes you're gonna get clumps of granola. You might like to break it up and have tiny, tiny, tiny pieces. But I actually love when, my hair. I actually love when there are like chunks of the granola. My daughter loves it too, so I try to keep it as chunky as possible. And so after I pull it out of the oven, the way I store it is in jars. And I usually put it in several jars and maybe some smaller ones, because if I give it away to people, it's a really great item to give away. Right now I'm just going to show you how I just put it in a large jar, and then it keeps for, probably like 10 days at least, and it's still really good, or maybe even 2 weeks. It's really, really yummy for a while. Especially if you put it in the jar when it's still pretty warm. But it's so delicious. And after it sits here for a minute, it'll just get a little bit crispier. And we'll just kind of top it off. You could even add, after you pull it out and it cools a little, if you wanted to add like chocolate chips to it, or you could add like craisins or other options. But for now, we're just gonna do it this way and put a little ribbon on it, and you can give it away or just eat it, and it's delicious. I can't wait for you to try it.
Wait, what is it?
Eat it with a fork.
Eat it? Wait, what is it?